Right, episode 22. It's March, basically Monday. I am here with my distinguished friends and other hosts, Valero and John. How you guys doing?
What up? Pretty good. I'm exhausted. I had to move a whole shed today. Like
Yeah,
you wouldn't think that's hard, but like that's fucking hard.
yeah, I'm pretty sure like the Amish have to like coordinate a whole day and festival to move stuff like that. So
I
yeah.
believe it, man. Like before I agreed to doing this, I did not realize how hard it was to move a shed. I mean, it's not like I walked it to another house. Like all I had to do was lift it onto a truck and then lift it back off the truck. But like that was insane. Like you wouldn't believe it.
And John, our resident or at least our most veteran homeowner, do you have any home owning anecdotes to add to that?
Anecdotes.
Yeah.
N- no, it just snowed a lot here. So it snowed all day today, pretty much. So I
God
had
damn.
a back-breaking day of shoveling. Yeah.
Wait, so you don't have like a snow blower?
I I do, but it's like I think I said this on the podcast before, but it's like small and it's like the type of snowboard you would have if you live somewhere where it snowed like occasionally throughout the winter, and if it did snow, it just like collected 4 or 5 inches. But like here, the snow's like a foot and a half. So like it's just not equipped. Like it
And you
looks
get that
like
heavy duty.
yeah, it looks like the toy of snowblowers, basically. And the other problem with it is that our drive. I mean, you've been to my house, so like you know from the
Mhm.
street to the garage, that's all driveway. Like that's where we put our trash cans back in right behind right in front of that garage. So like basically this little toy push mower is on or push blower is on like a cord too. So like the only outlet we have because our house is pretty old is like in the garage. So I had to buy like 100-foot cord to even get it to reach to almost the street. And even when it does reach like to that far, the snow blowers from the actual street, they just blow and push all the street snow back into my driveway. And
Wait,
that,
the whole snowblower is electric?
yeah, it's an electric blower.
Wow. I've never heard of that.
Yeah, there's a
Interesting.
lot of those now. My lawnmower is electric too now. I mean, like pretty much everything is they have an
Like
electric
you have to
version of.
plug it in and drag around a cord like a vacuum?
So for my mower, it's not like that. I just got two batteries and I just charge the battery like when I need to use it.
Okay, that makes sense.
But the blower is on a cord. The blower was a gift from
Yeah, I have an electric one too.
yeah, the blower was a gift. So I don't think the person who did it has ever had to deal with snow in a long time. So like it was well-meaning, but like sometimes it's just tough to get that part of the street. Plus, even when I get that far, the snow is so heavy that the blower can't handle it anyway. So I have to end up just shoveling that part, and that's the hardest part. Like it might take me 10 minutes to do like the whole driveway, but that little sliver of where the driveway meets the gravel, that takes me like 20 minutes
Well,
of just
yeah,
fucking back-breaking shoveling.
that
Dang.
would suck. It became like it snowed here too, and then it became all slush and ice, and I like it didn't work with the snowblower because like you can't snowblow slush. Like it just doesn't like blow out. Like it just stays on the bottom of the snowblower. So like I was like, no, I'm not doing it. Like I just went back inside. I kicked off my boots and then just let my driveway be an ice skating rink. Like whatever.
Man, it must be like gone already by now, anyways,
Yeah,
right?
it is. Yep, all of it. The whole thing is gone.
Yeah.
Like
Uh,
basically by Monday, it was like gone, which I'm glad. I
Yeah.
also have like a blacktop driveway, which is like really nice. It melts the snow and ice so quick.
is that why they do that?
I don't know. I'm not sure if that's why they do it, but it works in that occasion. That's for sure. That'd be
Oh,
interesting. They usually like reseal driveways with like tar because I've had my parents have done that before. I don't know if the blackness is on purpose
yeah,
or if it's just
same.
a coincidence.
So question for you guys to answer at the end of the episode. Hopefully, I'll remember again. If there was a presidential election and the rules were that there's nobody like on the ballot, every ballot is a write-in, like for everyone in the nation. Who do you think would actually become president? So
I
yeah,
mean,
I'm
that's
just
kind of interesting. So
I'm
you're
kind of curious.
basically with that, you're just basically skipping like the primary and the political party process. Like, and it's just like, yeah.
Yeah, just
So
a,
it's
a
just
total
straight to
free
the
for all.
final vote. Yeah,
Yeah.
total free for all, final vote, one vote only.
Yep. And whoever gets the most, like whoever, even if everyone, if I don't know how the math would actually work out, but let's say it would be 500 votes, like per person is as good as you can do, and then end up being even. Whoever got 501 votes in the nation, they would be they would be the president.
Well, apparently Selena Gomez is the third most followed uh person, no, actually fourth most followed person on Instagram. So if that's what you're going off in any
Not
way,
really.
it might be Selena Gomez. She might be the new president of the United States.
I mean, if that's what you think. But yeah, just think about it. And you too, John.
All right.
Yeah,
Um,
that's my vote. Whoever Instagram votes for it. We'll see.
yeah, speaking of the government, did you guys see that TikTok is like banned for everyone that works for them now?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
No, I
That's
didn't know
funny.
that.
I was with my dad all day today, and then he whips out his phone and he starts watching like TikTok videos. And I was like, wait a second, is this
Seriously?
TikTok? I was like, yeah, I know, right? He's like, yeah. I'm like, you have that Chinese spyware on your phone? And he's like, yeah. He's like, and he laughed or whatever. And that was pretty much the end of that conversation. But like, yeah, like I, yeah, even my dad has TikTok. I couldn't believe it. They're in everything.
Like how? Like how did he figure out about it?
I feel like everyone's heard about it at least at this point. So he must have legit just tried to like download. Maybe he was bored or something one day and he like actually downloaded it to see like what it was all about. And like after once you download it, it's over. Like you just open it up, sign in, and like you're done. It's just videos that are hilarious. And then once you like watch one longer than the other, then it knows what you like, and then it just shows you more of that. And yep, and that's the infinite feedback loop of the algorithm.
Yeah, but so how I'm just wondering when he first heard of TikTok, like what was the language that was used that made him say, "You know what? I might check that out." Because everything I've seen, and it's probably just because like they do have some of my tracking parameters, such as like my age and where I live and stuff like that. So I might only get TikTok advertisements that are for like a 30-year-old dude. But yeah, like what are they showing to someone your dad's age where he was like, yeah, this is something I want to add to my life. I just,
he he was watching clips from Whose Line Is It Anyway from the fucking 90s, I'm pretty sure.
okay, I got
And
it.
he was just cracking up like
Yeah, see, I didn't, I mean, I guess I did realize that they're doing that on TikTok, but yeah, the way it's been positioned to me is that it's all just like influencers, not necessarily uh older content that is finding like a new home. And yeah, I guess that makes way more sense if it's like just clips of older shows and stuff like that. Then yeah, because I was like imagining your dad watching like some 16-year-old guy do the new like TikTok dance, and he's like, haha, yeah, get it, boy. Like I can't, yeah,
my god. Dude, I could never imagine my dad doing that. Yeah, get him, boy. Oh my god, that's too funny.
yeah. So
Yeah, that's not gonna happen, I don't think. Yeah, I mean that it definitely made more sense once I saw like what he was watching. I was like, you know what? Like, yeah, he did used to watch this in the day, and it was pretty funny. Like, so yeah, they figured out like he's probably older. He likes this older stuff. Yeah, they know everything.
Man. Yeah, I can't believe
Wait,
I
so none
can't
of us
believe
here
that.
have TikTok? Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't.
I do not have TikTok.
Well, yeah. So we don't even know, like, we don't even know what we're talking about, really. We're just like a bunch of old guys who are older than my parents even, because I'm pretty sure my mom has TikTok too. And I want to say, like, I'm pretty sure my mom got TikTok before my dad, would guess. And yeah, because my mom is just more up to date on these things, I feel like, and just like in the world happenings in general. So
Right.
she might have been an influence on this decision. And what her TikTok shows, I have no idea, but I'd kind of be interested to see that.
Okay. So there's zero TikTok in your household, John?
None. As far as I know, I mean, maybe Danielle has it, but I certainly don't have it.
You don't know if she has it.
No.
You don't see her on it or anything. I mean, I feel like you'd know. TikTok is kind of like obnoxious.
I'm honestly not sure, and I don't really watch her when she's on her phone, but I don't know. I haven't seen her on it as far as I know.
Yeah, you can hear TikTok. Like all of a sudden, like it'll just be quiet, and suddenly, like some guy will just be like, "Oh hell no!" And it'll be like, "What was that?" And it's like, and then like those like Lorraine will just like start laughing or something. It's like, "What the fuck was that?" Like it's like, "Oh, it was a TikTok video," and then she shows me, and it's like this white girl doing the voice of like the guy saying, "Oh hell no," and it's like, and it is kind of funny actually,
That's
but
all it
like.
takes.
Yeah, basically. She's like, I was looking at all these chores and I was like, oh, hell no. And then, like, there it is. It's got like 500,000 views or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah, yep. TikTok. So, I mean, like, I guess I see TikTok. Like, Lorraine has it. So, like, I can, and she shows me videos and she sends them to me. So, like, in that way, I have it or I've been on it. But, like, I refuse to download the app.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess it made sense to me when I heard that it was being banned because if you can hone in on just some random guy in the Midwest that easily, then just imagine if they see all these devices signing in from DC area IP addresses and like, oh, okay, here we go. Now we know how to manipulate these guys. So
Yeah, yep.
yeah, it does make sense. But I don't remember any time in history since I've been alive where the government just came out and said, "Hey, this thing from a different country, don't use it because it's dangerous." I
I
mean,
feel like
can you
only with
think?
China. Remember Huawei or whatever? Huawei.
Yeah,
And
but
what
yeah,
was the
I
other
feel
one?
like that's all like related, isn't it?
Pretty much, yeah.
Like
And I feel like this kind of is leading toward like some sort of like they want to start a fight with China basically or something. Like
Mhm.
that's what it's seeming like or like we're just not liking China anymore, like I guess.
What a dumb idea. Like, I mean, I guess
The
it's inevitable.
only Yeah, the only logical explanation I could think is like they want to start a Cold War with China, and like I guess they're thinking like now that the Cold War, as soon as the Cold War ended for America the last time, everything started going downhill. So like I guess like they're trying to start like a new fresh one, and like they're hoping that'll like motivate everyone to like work harder maybe, and like start bringing businesses also back to the United States possibly.
They want everyone to be proud to be an American.
Yeah, they're trying to create that national hate. Just
Oh, okay. Yeah, China.
yeah, they're like China. Oh,
That's the only thing that I like took away from his presidency, that he was very suspicious of China.
yeah. Yeah, and he would say it in a very racist way. Like I don't even know how that's possible, but it was just racist how he said it.
He just said it disrespectfully.
Yeah,
Like he,
exactly.
yeah, he made it obvious that
China.
yeah, that he, yeah, that he had that disdain. So, so does your, I mean, I'm not trying to like dox your whole family, but from what I remember, didn't you have a member that used to work there pretty regularly? Does that still happen? In China, I mean.
Me?
Yeah, yeah.
A family member? Yes. So no, he doesn't work there anymore. So he retired right like 2020, I think. Like he came back the summer of the pandemic, I want to say. And now he does go back to visit because he's got like old friends there and whatnot.
Mhm.
But yeah, he says I asked him about it, and he says it's different now. Like it's literally different from just like 2 years ago when he was there, because like also they took over. He worked out of Hong Kong, and now they've taken over Hong Kong, and he says even that's completely different now. Like, which is just crazy. Like so,
Okay,
yeah,
but
things are definitely different there.
Hong Kong is another one of those like breakaway regions, isn't it?
Yeah, yep.
Okay. So when he was working there, did he say, did the people there say that they're China or Hong Kong?
They would say they're Chinese, I guess, for the most part.
Okay.
There's no such thing as Hong Kongese, is there? Kongolese?
I,
Congolese? I have no idea.
I don't know. I just know the people in Taiwan, like
Yeah,
they're
that's a national
themselves.
national identity.
Right.
Taiwanese. I actually at least know how to say that and have heard that word.
Yeah. Okay. Well then, I guess that makes more sense that they took care of that first, and now, now they can like look out into the sea and be like, man, let's get that island back. I'm not saying
That
that's
is
a good or
true.
bad thing, but yeah, that seems to be what's gonna happen. Um, yeah, there's no way for that. There's no way that this stuff could happen like peacefully. Like that's a war. That's the
Yeah, I
old
feel
one
like
too.
it must depend. Like they're probably waiting to see like how the Ukraine war like plays out. Like, are we gonna nuke each other? Are we gonna even bother like going to war with Russia to make sure Ukraine doesn't get taken over? Like, how far will it go? And then like depending on like what happens and the repercussions for Russia, I feel like China might go through with it and be like, all right, yeah, let's do it. Like that wasn't so bad. Or they might be like, you know what, that wasn't worth it. Like let's not do it. Maybe we can figure out some other way to get them back in the country.
I just, uh, what's the worst thing that happens if if China is a whole China again? Like, what does that
And
mean necessarily?
then they get the full control of the smallest like semiconductors for the microchips, which
Okay.
is which is bad news for like our military equipment essentially. So basically they can, I'm pretty sure as long as China waits until we get our factories up and running, like once we get the American factories up and running, they can pretty much invade Taiwan, and I don't think America would even bother doing anything. So as long
That,
as they just wait for that, and we're building them now, so like if they just wait, they can have it for basically free.
okay. But does it just look better to seemingly take it by force?
Does it? Probably not. I feel like if anything, that's gonna starting a war always like creates the risk of like creating political instability at home. So like if you don't have to do that, it's usually better to not. Which probably goes to show how desperate Russia is for like actually going through with the invasion. Yeah, apparently I heard the entire economy, New York City has an economy bigger than the entire country of Russia.
I believe that.
I'm like, wow. Like all of like Russia's massive and like one city in America, its economy is bigger than their entire economy. And it's like, okay, like these guys aren't what we think they are. Like they're not the big bad like contenders. Like they're not really like competition. Like so yeah, they're gonna try and do whatever they can to grab what power they can left, I suppose. But
I mean,
we'll see what
they're
China does.
the closest competition we have left, isn't it? And and that's really it doesn't matter how good or bad they are, just for the very fact that they're the only competitor left. They
Well,
end
there's
up being,
China.
yeah, that's true. I mean, both of them. That's why we're trying to surround that particular region of the world in general.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like once now that Russia's done, right, the only focus left is like to pay attention to China, which is like North Korea's kind of grouped into that one, so like perfect.
I
And
just
yeah,
don't
this
get
is
how that's a good thing. Like, like people talk about how monopolies are so bad, and like the U.S. is creating a monopoly on the world, and everyone's just okay with that. I mean, I'm okay with that. Don't come for me, but like, yeah, I don't know.
yeah, I mean like that's not like is that good? At the same time, if we pull away, then like I'm not even sure. Like more corruption, like things would collapse and like I mean look at Afghanistan. Like things didn't get better when we left. They got worse.
Yeah, but they
So,
were already bad because we did that to them.
also true. And same with Vietnam. Things got better but then got worse. You know what's also funny? Vietnam is like poised to become a big ally for the United States, which is funny because like we it was like the same thing with Afghanistan. Like we invaded them, they hated us, they won the war, and then like kicked us out. And now, like after all of that, they're just gonna be like, you know what? Let's just be friends anyways. Like if that's what was gonna happen, like we could have just not invaded them the whole time and let them come to their own conclusion that they wanted to be friends with us.
Yeah, yeah, everyone gets that Stockholm syndrome after after the U.S. military gets in there.
That's true. Maybe they would have never wanted to be friends with us had they not seen what it was like when we were around. I mean, it's not like things were good. As soon as we got there, like all their cities were on fire.
I think that I think that's the thing. Like the armed forces like occupy, and then a lot of the people see either how ruthlessly efficient they are, or they see like what a risk and how dangerous they are, and like depending on what side you fall on, like you're either gonna be like, yeah, we want these guys to come and take over our country, or you're mega pissed and you like gather people like in another country and you're a terrorist organization then. But you're only classified as such because you disagree and you don't want your country to be taken over by a foreign adversary. Which is like, I mean, I get that. Like, I'm pretty sure we don't
Right.
want that.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. Which
yeah,
is
all in all,
funny.
I think we've laid a pretty shitty playbook like for world conquest in general because right now it seems like history would tell you that the easiest and best way to become a world superpower is to nuke someone for real. Because once you do that, everyone's like, holy shit, like they're serious, like they would actually do it. And
Yeah, these
then
guys are fucking crazy.
yeah, and then everyone just everyone just kind of agrees with you or like lets you take the lead. So yeah, I don't know.
I mean, Russia didn't try to agree with us, and neither did China. How did China feel about us? It's just weird because like China just became a country again in like 1950 something or like which is like not even close to that long ago. Like so it's like why don't they like us? Like we ever even invade them? But like then we did the Korean War and for some reason they're just like, you know what? We don't want America this close to us. So then they invaded Korea, but like for the Koreans and then we were essentially at war with the Chinese, but like it was technically a Korean war. So like obviously then the Chinese never liked us from the beginning then like that's what that means.
Yeah, I get it because I mean we really didn't have any business being over there. It's like the same thing we did to Japan. They're like, "Hey, so you guys really like being by yourselves and not training with anyone. Well, you're gonna have to stop that, and you're gonna have to start training with us." And they were just like, "Yeah, we were so persistent that eventually China would just like stop their whole policy of isolation. They were like, okay, I guess we'll just trade with everyone then, and see how that turned out for them. Not very
Yeah, that's right. That was like they consider that the century of embarrassment or shame or something like that. And that's how
I don't
Hong
know.
Kong got lost to the UK, and they lost all these other territories essentially. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, that is true. And now they're just trying to fight for their stay in the world.
I don't know why is I don't. There can be differing opinions on the planet, and everyone can be safe. I mean, I believe that. I don't know. Do you guys believe that? Do you think that everyone has to believe the same thing for there to be world peace?
I feel like as long as everyone believes in a peaceful ideal, then you've achieved that. But then, like, I don't know, like, technically, both, I guess, US, Russia, and China all have non-peaceful ideals. So, like, we all have reasons to be invaded, like, by moral code, essentially. Like, US has invaded, like, countless countries. We even invaded Afghanistan, which is just the wrong country. We were never supposed to be there to begin with. And yet we did it, but like we don't pay anything. Like there was no price. Like no one made us pay. And like China, like they literally like genocided like an entire Muslim population, and like so that kind of gives us like the moral high ground where it's like, yeah, we can start a cold war with them. Like they're bad people. Like look what they're doing. But like, and then again, Russia invaded Ukraine like unprovoked, essentially. So it's like I don't know. If all the countries had just like peaceful ideals, but then like just differed in culture, then like you're fine. But right now, it seems like we're not even close to that. Like all the countries have reasons to be invaded, like moral reasons, or at least not to be invaded, but to be taken over.
Uh, okay. What do you think, John? Do you think everyone has to believe the same thing for there to be peace?
Um, I think probably everyone has to have a similar like outer framework. It doesn't have to be exact, but I think most people would have to just agree to like simple guidelines because otherwise it's not really society. It's just like barbarism and it's just like survival of the fittest. So if you have multiple nations, then yeah, everyone has to at least agree that when we shake hands and say we're going to do something that we mean it. Otherwise, like you really can't coexist. So to some extent, yeah, but I think within those within that like very basic framework, there's a lot of room like to maneuver. So like obviously China, like Fleur was saying, has very different ideals than us. I think that's allowed for as long as you all understand at the end of the day, like these will be the boundaries, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I just don't. What is it? What is it exactly that everyone is fighting for? Is it just resources?
I
Control.
think, yeah, power and money. I guess right. Resources bring more money, and money brings more power.
I mean, resources are real. Like those are tangible things, but power and money are largely just those are made up by us so that everything kind of works right.
Right.
So so that's why I'm wondering like if someone were to amass all the power and money, then then what? What does that
Yeah.
mean?
What is yeah, what are Elon Musk's motivations? Like what are the motivations of someone who's on top? Like there's nowhere else to go. Like yeah, you've amassed all the power and money. Now what are you trying to do with it?
I don't
And
think that
well, I mean,
I don't think
he's
that
going to space as a business person, and America, I
Um,
guess America's on top, but we haven't amassed all the power. What have we done with it? What have we done with it? I guess we spent it on ourselves mostly, and used a bunch of money on our military. But yeah, what is someone like George Bush's dad, like senior, what's his motives? Like why did he do all that stuff? It seemed like he was in a well position, had plenty of money, opportunity. Like what's the purpose of meddling in like all these other countries and civilizations. I guess for fun, I would say.
Mm,
Yeah,
okay. Yeah.
for fun.
If either of you were ruthless businessmen, maybe you are, but and you you were like the CEO of the leading um what's like a weird industry? The leading not the leading yogurt manufacturer for the Midwest. That's not a weird industry, but just pretend. Like if you were number one and then you heard that there was this new artisanal brand like popping up in Florida and they're like getting really popular and they have like a huge social media following. Like, do you think it's your responsibility to go down there and like stop it or like take them on? Like either of you, do you think that's is that what you're thinking when you're like in that position
Yeah,
of
I feel like
power?
if you're a ruthless businessman, as you said, yeah, like you're gonna take action before action even has a chance to be taken against you. So yeah, I think
Yeah.
like you're just gonna jump at the chance to buy up your competition or have those
Y-
predatory ways.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I think that you probably, yeah, I would say the way that you take them on though is usually through buying them if you're smart. Because like if you're a ruthless business person, it doesn't really do you any good to just kill your competition. Like obviously they're doing something right. They have customers. So like I feel like there can be a sort of symbiotic relationship with like a company that gets acquired. Like if you're like I don't know exactly how other companies do it, but like there are some companies that I think are happy to be acquired. It just depends on who it's by. Like if you're going to be acquired by like a tech giant tyrant, then yeah, like that probably isn't a happy relationship. But I think there could be a way where you can have competitiveness turn into like business relationships if the right person is willing to like stick to that person's brand.
Okay, but you both think that the the typical move of a ruthless business person is not to do that. Like you're just going in and taking everything.
Yeah, I would say right, you're
What
gonna
do you
offer
mean?
the person money and then which
Yeah.
they'll almost certainly accept, and then your competition is gone. Just like
Okay.
the supposed free insulin essentially. Like why isn't that free? Like didn't they buy up like the people who are making it for free and then like it just continues to not be free or something like that?
I don't believe that's necessarily the first move. I think it depends. Like I feel like the only one I'm thinking about that like makes me think that way though is like I know Warren Buffett's companies, a lot of them like try to get acquired by him. So like I don't like the way you're explaining it of like this gobbling up and they're just done now. Like it doesn't a lot of those people just keep their brands. So like I don't know if I'd say that's common. If that's what you're asking, I have no idea. I don't pay attention enough to like enough businesses. But I would hope that it's more common than like just being gobbled and flattened because that just doesn't make a good business sense.
Right. And that's why I'm thinking like on as America on a whole that it doesn't make good business sense to just go and destroy any like hint or sense of competition.
Yeah,
And it
no, it
seems
doesn't.
like that is like the business like plan or strategy of the US. Like if there's just one sniff
Of the
that
U.S. Oh,
there's
I see. Yeah,
yeah
yeah.
that there's not democracy somewhere, like we're going in. Like we're gonna send our assassins and we're gonna like destabilize. And I'm not sure why that is exactly. Like maybe it's just for fun. Maybe like once you get that high on the ladder, like that's just what you do
Well,
Yeah,
to
it's somewhat
have
I
an
feel like
mutually
that's
impact.
gotta be
yeah,
it.
it's somewhat mutually beneficial too, I think, because like if you are a democracy and you want the people that like are part of your country to believe in democracy and believe it's the best thing, you can't have like somewhat selfishly, you can't have like representations of quote unquote successful societies that don't align with ours in some way, because then it damages the thought process of this being the best thing to do. And then people start asking like, well, maybe we should do it like the way they're doing it. You know what I mean? So like, not saying I think that's why like you destroy a dictatorship necessarily. Like I don't know that Americans would ever think that. But like, how often do you see countries that are like so successful that I think the U.S. is like crazy afraid of them? Like I don't know that anyone is super successful that is like has some level of democracy. Like it just doesn't seem feasible because we just squash any versions that don't look like some semblance of us. I feel like.
I
Yeah, I
agree.
mean, there's China. China wasn't like
Yeah, but even
too
China's like
influenced, and they
capitalistic
held
now.
on. You said they're capitalistic, but they're not a democracy. But yeah, I feel like those types of things really goes to show you what types of governments are just better. Like even China isn't like an autocracy or like a feudal like state anymore. Like there's like, you know what, this capitalism thing actually does work out and it does motivate the people to like work on their own and stuff. So yeah, I feel like capitalism definitely has maybe kind of emerged as like the top choice of economy right now, essentially. Like even by
But
choice, like
wait, autocracy. Could you explain that? I forgot what
that's like uh when there's just one guy, he makes all the decisions from the top down, like that's
that.
it's
Okay.
that's it.
And feudal, that's like what you like
Basically
your
the same
birthright.
thing. Right, but like there's birthrights and like you have to impress your nobles because they also have rights, but then everyone else doesn't really have rights. So like
Man,
you're more or
I
less doing most of the
I
control.
feel like that's real in anything but name. Like how did we have I feel like there's been multiple times in history where we've had presidents that were directly related, like father son. And like what are the odds of that? It seems like that's not supposed to happen. Like it's supposed to be that like going back to that question I asked you, if it really was like a free for all, who would be president? Because it's not. Like it seems like you need to have at least some type of connections to begin with to even like have any sort of chance to get into that office. Um, so yeah, I don't know.
That's interesting.
It doesn't seem like anything is actually a democracy. I
Yeah,
think
I don't think so either. I agree with that.
yeah, I think that's the best way to make the masses feel comfortable.
Hmm.
And like
Yep.
you said, Valero, like you kind of need that. Or wait, maybe that was John that said that. Yeah, I think you said that, John. That
Yeah, you
that
need
you need
people to
that.
feel comfortable about what they've bought into. Of course,
For
absolutely.
real. Yeah. Oh, that's completely true.
Interesting. I
So
mean, the alternative would be, I mean, the only way you can have a true one-time vote would be to basically make it so no one had any news or access to like national news or global news even. So that way like no one can pile on like the bandwagons of popularity. Because I mean like come on, Selena Gomez is the third most like she's not that interesting. Like she's just straight up not. Like people follow her because she has high followers. Like that's just what happens when you once you reach a certain threshold on like any social media site, people just see you and be like, oh, okay, I'll follow that person, even though like you barely even meet their standards as like someone they would even consider a friend or something. Maybe even you wouldn't meet the standards, but it's like, oh, they're popular. I'll
yeah,
keep up with them. So like that immediately taints the vote. So like if you can find a way to like keep the population from like piling on or like doing any sort of like bandwagon popularity, then you could do it, which is tough, I guess. But that would be nice, I guess, if everyone wanted a non like biased view of who would be the best actual person to be the president. That's how you'd have to do it.
I don't think so. I think it's fine if people get on the bandwagon. I just think that there shouldn't be like a list of people that you're given that says you can only choose out of these. I think it's fine if you if you somehow get a lot of people to support you just for the very fact that you're popular.
I mean,
Like
well,
I
that's what our government is. Like, you do have to start, even like before you do the primaries, you just have to get popular in general. So like that
No,
is
I don't think
that.
that's true. I don't think
Yeah,
that. I think that you have to have like some kind of in if you want to have any opportunity to get to the presidential office. You
right. You
can't
have to be
actually be a
popular.
nobody. Yeah. And that's what we're like led to believe is the democracy, but it's not because you can't really vote for anyone. You can only vote for your choices that you're given, if that
But how
makes
would
sense.
that change if everyone can still pile on the bandwagon? Then Selena Gomez is going to be the president still, even though not necessarily everyone thinks that she would be the best person.
Right. And I'm saying that's why it's not a democracy right now because she can't be president. Like she can't get on the list of options.
She can't?
Right, she can't.
How? Donald
I'm
Trump
saying
did that. He shattered that ceiling.
right. So I'm saying like not yeah, now it's becoming more of a democracy. But before then it's not because there isn't an open choice. It's only the choices that they say are okay. So
Interesting.
that's why I'm asking like if if that is the case now and everyone can just like really vote for whoever that they want and like there's gonna end up being the president, then yeah, I'm interested. I'm interested to see like who does the country as a whole like actually believe and want to lead them, not just like what the our now like current parties tell us that yeah these are our best candidates, so you should just vote for one of them.
Yeah,
Like,
and they're never the best.
yeah, like I'm pretty sure if anyone like during the election where John Kerry ran, who did he lose to? I forgot. Bush? Was it Bush?
Bush, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
If if anyone if anyone in the country would have been like, hey, like you should just vote for me instead. Like this Kerry guy, he's kind of boring, and I'm a Democrat. I feel like I can do better. If it was really possible to just like write it in, I feel like I feel like Kerry would have been in trouble. Like if Oprah would have said, "Hey, don't vote for Kerry, vote for me instead," she would have won. But
I mean, that same thing would have happened in the primary then. She could have, before the primary vote, she could have been like, hey, don't vote for him, vote for me instead. And she would have won the primary. And then she would have been on the ballot.
no, but that's what I'm saying. Like the very fact that there has to be that primary and you have to like start playing the game in order to even have the chance of getting that ultimate vote means that it's not a democracy. Like the primaries and like the party system and everything, it's designed in a way to like root people out. Like you have to have
Right.
a certain amount of like money and connections and stamina and willingness to debase yourself and other people in order to like get through the marathon of like national campaigning, I guess.
Yeah,
So like
that's
by
true.
that fact it's not a democracy really. Like it is not anyone that can end up there. You have to be willing to play the game in a certain way.
So I guess with your situation, what if it's someone who doesn't want it? Like, what if we vote in someone and it's be like, oh, fuck. Like, it's me? Like, I don't want it. I decline.
Yeah, that would be great. I would actually love to see that.
Like, what would you want to happen there? Should we force the person to be president
Then
for
you go to the next one.
you just keep so you just go down the line until someone accepts?
Yeah.
Interesting. That's not too bad of an idea.
Yeah, I think yeah, I think it's better to have a leader that is not their like end goal to be a leader.
I
Like I think it's
Yeah,
better to have a leader by circumstance.
I do
that is
agree
true.
with you that that would be much more of a true democracy. I think that there's just problems with that because if there's just a clean, fresh vote and you can put in whoever you want, where's like the vetting process? Like, are we going to vet every human being that's eligible to be president? Like, aren't there certain things we don't want in our president? I feel like
That's
that's why
true.
that's why the whole process really
I mean, you have to
exists.
be 35, not a felon.
Right, I wouldn't
So
want it
what
to
if
be a
they
kid just because they're popular. You know what I mean? Like that kind of kills it for me. Like, so like
That's true. Is
there's just
Selena
certain
Gomez 35?
there's just
I
certain
don't think
things that
so.
I'd want someone who's the president to have been able to speak to in their life, and I think some of those things happen with age, some of those things happen with experience. So like, yeah, I think while I can understand why that would make more sense from a pure democracy standpoint, I think even in a democracy we realize there's some people who just aren't fit for everything. So the way we weed that out is by that process that really is like fueled by all the things you said, like money, connection, all of those things. Now, has it gotten out of hand with those things? Probably, but I still think there has to be some type of vetting process. Otherwise, I would be
So
very afraid of who would get the presidency.
the easy solution to that for this situation would be just like the people who decline, just keep going down the list until you hit someone who checks off all the boxes, like you're
But like
35,
who, but like
you're not a felon.
who decides what the boxes are though?
Well, those boxes are actually already like decided in the Constitution. Like I was actually wrong. Selena Gomez, she's only 30. So like if even if she got the vote, she would have to get checked off and like knocked off the list cuz she's not 35. Like you can't be the president if you're not, you have to be at least 35. Like that's actually
Okay,
like a rule.
I wasn't realizing that the only thing we were changing in this hypothetical was literally the voting process. We were keeping all of the other things. It sounded like all of it was just going away, and we were just gonna say, okay, now we're just gonna straight up democracy vote. Because like, why would you even bother with all of those other parts of the system if it's just a pure democracy vote?
Yeah, that's true. That's why we have to give the exception of the founding fathers. They got to do all that. And we just don't question anything they ever do.
Yeah, well, all
No,
right.
I think the way I was thinking was that it is completely open, but like how you were saying, Valero, if someone got the most votes who was under 35, then they just couldn't get it. Like that's all.
So
It
I
would just
looked
have
up
to go to the next person.
the most popular person on Instagram who is over 35 and American is Dwayne The Rock Johnson. And
That
honestly,
you know
that
what?
it seems pretty legit.
That's who
Like people
that's
were
who I was gonna
actually,
say. That's literally who
yeah,
I was gonna say for my question at the end.
that's hilarious. Yeah, that sound I've literally heard people like back in the last election, I'm pretty sure there was like a movement to try and like motivate him to run. And he was like, no. So
Right.
he,
So
I
I'm
mean,
saying if it really was a democracy, why didn't everyone just write his name in? Like if that's
because
what
he said
everyone
no.
wants,
So
but I
he's
mean
already basically declined. So now
it's
we're gonna
not
have to
about
go down the list again.
but that's not
So the next
democracy.
person,
It's not about what he wants, it's what the people want.
well, you said that if they decline, they don't have to do it. So even if they wrote him
Right.
in and he won, he could be like, well, that's nice of you guys, but I already said no. So like
I
I'm gonna
don't think
stick
he
by
would.
that, which seems plausible if
I
like
don't think he
he
would do that.
already said no once.
I think he would take it. If he yeah, you guys don't believe that? If the
I
I
feel
think
people
he
like
voted
would.
him in,
Yeah, I think he
he
would.
would be like, "Oh, I accept. Okay, I'll do it for you guys."
Yeah, I think he would.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't see why he would. I mean, like I think there's a chance, but it seems more plausible if someone says no, I don't like that, I'm not going to do it. It seems more plausible to bet that that's what they would choose if you offer them the same choice again.
No, the circumstances are different.
Yeah, I think I think the circumstances are different. I do believe that because I think in the aspect that he's saying no, like he's not being seriously considered as a candidate by people with like power and influence. Like this is more of a that's like a grassroots opinion that he should be president. Like there aren't people of substantial power walking around buildings saying, "Hey, you know, he could win." So like in that sense, I think even he probably thinks to himself, that's very cute, but I don't think I can actually win. Now, if someone like super serious starts saying it, and like enough like people with crazy influence start saying it, I 100% believe that The Rock would run today. Like that's just not even in the hypothetical. I think he would run
That's
actually
hilarious.
today if enough people said it, enough important people said it. So yeah, in that scenario, if The Rock knew that the majority of the United States of America voted for him to be president, he would 1000% take it, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Like there's no campaigning, there's no presidential debates, there's no
You
nothing.
just
Like
know you're the winner.
he
You just
just
literally know you're
yeah,
the winner.
it's like a lottery. Yeah, you just get notified that you're now the new president, or at least you can accept the role. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
so yeah, I
literally like a
guess like
text
that
message. Would
takes
you
a
like
lot
to
of the stress
accept?
off of
Yes or
it.
no?
yeah. I think that'd
So
be
if he
cool.
declines, the next is Kim Kardashian, and you know she's saying yes.
Oh yeah, she'll say yes for sure. But I don't know. I don't think it might. Yeah, probably they would
She's
end
a
up
terrible
getting the
human.
most
I really hope
votes,
no one would
but
vote for her.
it might
You
not be
better
that
hope
way.
Dwayne the Rock Johnson says yes.
Do you think that enough people will be interested to vote that these just like purely popular celebrities would even have a chance? I feel like a majority of the voting public isn't really into celebrities like that. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. What do you guys
I
think?
mean, I guess I'm just using this because it's hard to get another gauge of like who someone would actually like vote for. Like, there's no list I can think of where it's like most respectable people in the United States.
Right.
Like,
That's why I want to.
but
That's
yeah.
why I'm curious. Like, I really am curious. Beside, like, yeah, sure, it's probably easy to say, like, yeah, celebrity would win, but is that actually the case? Like, who is it? Who's the most, yeah, like you said, who's the most trustworthy person that the public thinks is like worthy enough to lead us?
Yeah,
And is it?
Oprah. But then she would decline because she's a billionaire, and why would she want to be the president and possibly get sent to jail for something she does when she could just live the life of a billionaire?
Maybe she wouldn't decline. I think there's a difference if it's not your choice. Like how John was saying, The Rock probably wouldn't do it now because he doesn't want to play the game. But if it was just like handed to him and said like, yeah, this is yours, he would take it.
Yeah, 100%.
That's funny.
Yeah. So if Oprah didn't have to play the game and they were just like, all right, it's
Yeah,
yours,
I also
like
believe
you,
Oprah would take it.
yeah, she would take it for sure. But we don't have democracy, so those people don't want it because they
So
know
like
what it means.
if you took all that away, like the primaries and the parties, and you just had a vote, then like you would still have people who really want to be the president, and like they would start like social media popularity, and they
Hmm.
would just act respectable or like put on whatever persona they need to like gain the popularity. So you would still have like, not to say like every popular person is going to be that, or that would actually be 100% successful, but you would definitely have a bunch more people trying that essentially. If you knew that popularity kind of could
Hmm.
essentially win you the presidency.
And that's fine. I don't think there's
Yeah.
anything wrong with that. If someone ends up winning because of that, then cool. That's like what a majority of the nation wants at that moment. And if that completely unqualified person who just so happened to be on a popular TV show, um, then yeah, they're just gonna have to reap what you sow. Maybe it'll end up being really good. But if it ends up failing, then people know for next time.
Isn't that basically exactly how Alexandra Cortez became a senator or whatever? Like, didn't she just crowdsource people?
Did she? That might be true.
Crowdsource
I
people.
would believe
Or did
that.
she just like just normally campaign on her own to get popular? Like, which is basically got to have some aspect of social media if you don't have campaign money, which she didn't. She was like a bartender. So like,
Oh,
that's
Yeah,
basically
good
what
shit.
she did.
yeah, that is.
Yeah, and wouldn't you? I think that at least for the Democrat side, unfortunately, we're in like such a bipartisan that at the end of the day, we'll never actually be able to agree on everything. But like how you were saying, Valero, like there's an example right there. Someone who literally just said, "All right, I'm gonna get enough people to believe that I'm popular enough to do this," and it worked. And now
But see, that's
he's
the
probably on that
problem.
list of like the most like trustworthy people. Like
Ugh. See, like that's the
I think a
problem though,
lot of
because
people would say like,
she's not
yeah,
all that great.
yeah,
So like
that's true.
we don't really even pick that well.
Right. I
No, we
mean, that
don't.
is the problem. We
But we don't get the
That's
chance
the
to
real
pick them.
problem. Even when we get the
so maybe
chance
a
though,
democracy isn't the best.
but I'm saying like
Maybe we should go back to a republic.
even with her, those people in that city had an opportunity to pick well, and they didn't. Still. So like
Right.
I don't it's not I don't think we'll ever get even if we have all the chances in the world. I really don't think at the end of the day we'll ever pick well. We're just gonna pick to Valero's point, the person that's telling us the things we want to hear the most. And I
I
don't know
think
if
you're
that
right.
makes a good leader.
And I think that's exactly that exact like theory and statement and sentiment is exactly why they didn't make it just a full-on vote to begin with. From what I understand, is because they thought if they gave every single person the right to vote, that they would just vote in some idiot. So they felt like they needed some way where they can kind of control who was like running and winning. So like to Guda's point, you're exactly right. Like this
That's
isn't
not
a full
democracy.
democracy. Like
Yeah.
this is there are strings attached and it's not completely fair. But like it was designed that way because
Yeah,
they
yeah.
didn't trust the population to
Can
make
you
good
can you blame
decisions
them?
essentially.
Look at us.
Yeah, I know. I mean,
That
it's
sounds
true.
a
Like
lot like an autocracy or whatever. Like where there's a central group of people that decide what's best for everyone.
yeah, it's more like a republic. Like only certain people are really pulling the strings, right? A republic or something like a yeah, where there's layers or something like that. But right, like the average person, and then on top of all of that, we have this system where technically the electoral college, like you can just like you don't have to vote. Like there's no legal like thing obligating anyone in the electoral college to vote
Yeah,
with the results of like their territory,
yeah. Which
which
is
is crazy. Like I
yeah, it
like
doesn't
this is
matter.
like a glaring, gaping security hole for corruption, like just waiting to happen. It's amazing it hasn't been abused like grossly so far. Like,
Yeah,
why
but
do we have this? Why do we need it? I don't know,
but
but
the drawback
it's like
is like of the not the pure. That's why oh, there's parts of the pure vote that I actually like the idea that your vote is one vote. Like I feel like for example where I live, my no matter how I vote, this part patch of my world that I live in will always be red. Doesn't matter. Like it doesn't matter if I like the Democratic candidate. It doesn't matter who I like. It doesn't matter unless I'm voting red. Like it's just does. It's as if I didn't vote. So like I don't know. The pure vote at least guarantees that your one vote counts for one vote. Whereas like here, I
it
just
was
feel
true.
like it's just my territory is like, oh, that's red. We can count on that, no matter what.
Yeah.
That's definitely true. Yeah, like fucking Al Gore won the popular vote. More people voted
Yeah.
for Al Gore to be the president. But why was he not president? If this isn't a democracy, that doesn't make sense. But
Yep.
yeah, and then again, they didn't want all the states, like they didn't want one state to just get a super big population and then they control essentially the presidency because they have such a big population. So then they made it so even if you have a billion people in your state, your vote only counts for so much. Yeah. So it was definitely designed to not be completely democratic and fair.
Yeah, I don't think they definitely don't tell people that. Or that's not what
No.
everyone believes. I think
Yeah, we don't advertise that.
if everyone knew that, maybe January 6th never happens. Like if everyone just knows that it's not fair, then maybe people don't get so mad.
I think people already realize that it's not fair. They just act out when it's unfair to them.
That's every like cycle.
Yeah.
Every cycle, half of the country is gonna think
Yeah.
something's not fair.
Right, exactly.
And nothing can ever get
That's why
done
every
because it all
cycle there's
takes too
something new.
long.
Like that's why it's literally a new story every cycle. That's exactly why. Like everyone's fine with the unfairness when it benefits them. And then the moment it doesn't, it's like this is shit. People really should care about us more.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to just be pure, so everyone can just reap what they
Pure,
sow.
pure. Yeah. Look at you over there reaping.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a tough balance because like yeah, if you if you let it be pure, then you can have any old person be president, and you can also make it so like one state can basically like California has enough people where it could almost like control the election every year, almost like basically like between California and New York, as long as they agree on who they want to be president, like for the most part, like the people in those states are gonna decide who the president is. But like, so they did that, but like, is that fair? Is it fair? I don't know. Like, it sounds fair because like, okay, people are people. Everyone's vote counts equally. But at the same time, well, it's like, what about all these other states? Like, they're a part of this country too. Like, then they're just gonna feel like it's one big gerrymandered. Like, they're the entire like southern states are gonna feel like how John feels. Like, this is just a blue state or country. These two, the people who live in these places, like, they're the only people who ever win. Like, this isn't fair. It's like, yeah, how do you make them happy? I don't even know.
You don't. We just stop voting. That's all that happens.
Yeah, and like what?
I'll
I think
just
20% of the population already does that. They just don't
yeah
vote.
yeah. I'll just wait until like the tide shifts here to something that like I resonate with. Like and I'm not saying that like I don't resonate with some of the ideals of people on the right because I definitely do, but there are yeah, like I just there's no one who I feel good about voting for. And like that's a problem, like to the point that Good is making of having this like small list of people that you can get away with voting for. Like if I don't feel good about who I'm voting for, why am I voting for them? It
Yep.
just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. If it was pure and open, like at the very least there would be that, 'cause like you are writing that person in, like you
Right.
want
Yeah,
that
you're
name to be
endorsing
in
them.
there.
And I don't
Yeah.
feel good about endorsing anyone when I go to if I, when I have voted.
Yeah. Yeah. I think everyone, if you're a citizen, I think you're deserved at least that much, that you should at least feel good about who you're endorsing, and I don't
Well,
think that really exists anymore.
can you write in a candidate for? You can't do that for presidency, can you? I'm not sure if you can or not.
Yeah,
I
you
feel like
You
you
can.
can.
can,
Okay,
but
yeah.
you can't at the same
No,
time. Like
yeah, I
you have
know what you.
to.
Yeah,
Like, you know it's not gonna
yeah.
do
No, I
anything.
know. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah,
But
Well, I
you
mean, like
can. There's
you
the
have
line is
to
there.
you have
yeah.
to write it in for a particular party. Like you can't write it in for both. So
Yeah, you can only vote for one party. Yeah.
yeah,
But yeah, that yeah. So I understand the line. Yeah, the line is
I mean,
probably there.
when you
But
write it in, it doesn't even have to be a party. You're just writing in. That's your vote. Whoever you just do one vote and it's your write-in. Like, that's it.
really, I'm pretty sure you get a ballot that's like locked to your party.
But when you do a write-in, they don't have to be party affiliated. I don't think. How else
Oh,
would you do a write-in?
yeah.
I don't
Can you
understand
do
that.
that? Like if I have a Democratic ballot, can I write in the Republican nominee?
I that would be kind of
That's
funny.
huh.
I don't see why not though. I guess that would be kind of
That's
stupid.
wild.
It's a weird way to vote for your like it's still the same. Like, you didn't do anything or like game any systems, but you just did it weirdly.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like there must be something on the ballot that says you can't do that. 'Cause yeah, why wouldn't it just all be open to begin with then? Yeah, I don't know.
And like,
That's a good
there has
question.
to be some sort of representation for like non-democratic. Like, I think legally you don't have to be Democratic or Republican. Like, you can be just like whatever you want. Like, I can make the Purple Ninja Party right now, technically, and like they're not gonna make a ballot for me or anything, but you can still write me in. But like, how do they do that? How do you
Okay.
do that then? Like, so
Yeah.
I'm guessing you just get whatever ballot you have and just write it in, and that's supposed to count. But yeah, they probably don't even think about it that hard because they know it's never gonna work anyways, and no one's gonna try
Well, I'm gonna start the grassroots effort right here on Basically Monday. Everyone on the next the next election, just write in, baby. I don't
Who
even
are we
care who you
writing
vote
in?
for. I don't
Anyone?
care.
And
No,
just see what happens?
the movement is just write it in. That's all.
Interesting.
Just write it in. It doesn't even
The
matter who it
write
is.
it in movement.
Yep, that's it.
Write it in. Wow. Yeah, let's do it.
we're all so
Yeah.
Write
fucked.
it in. Hashtag
Yeah.
write it in. Start it here first.
Yeah,
If
we're
this
fucked,
gets
but
big somehow,
at least it's by our own demise.
yeah. All right. Yeah, if they picked you for starting it, like, let's say like by some like crazy like off chance that like the right person hears this and then they like actually like make it big or something. And then it's like, oh, like, you're the one who came up with this idea first. So like, let's say like you actually won. Like, everyone's like, yeah, this guy's great. Like, would you accept?
There's no chance. But
There
yeah, I would.
is no chance.
I'd accept.
Well,
Yeah.
Gosh,
But
I
that would
don't
never
know if
happen.
I would accept. I'm
Yeah, and
scared.
so if that's what the people want and they think that I would do the best job somehow and it's like that open, then yeah, I feel like that's my responsibility then.
Dude, do you understand how much like extrovert stuff you're gonna have to be doing?
Yeah, and I would wonder that, yeah, that's why I'm saying there's no way that would ever happen. Like, there's not enough people in this nation that know who I am to like,
Right, right, yeah.
Right, that's why I'd have to be like someone hears about it. And like maybe if the hashtag writing got big, maybe if people found out like, oh, who started this and it was you, just like some guy like with like immigrant parents in the Midwest, good values. You got a little bit of everything there. A tiny bit, maybe a little. I don't know how much you appeal to the right side of things, but the fact that you were born in the Midwest, I guess.
yeah, I mean,
Whatever. Actually, none of that
yeah,
matters because everyone
no,
in New York and California are choosing the presidency and they're gonna vote left all the way. So yeah, man, you're congratulations. Your future
it
president
just
right
happened.
here.
No, no, yeah,
Yeah,
if it
remember
ever
you
ends up
guys. It's
being that way,
NGUTA. The N is
no, wait, no,
silent.
don't
Don't
do
forget to write
please,
in
no,
the N.
God damn it. Um, no. Yeah, in whatever universe where that's actually how the book goes down, then maybe. But in this reality, that will never happen. So no, I would never take it in the current political system.
Yeah,
Um,
I'd be scared. Honestly, the life of the president, it doesn't seem fun. It seems insanely stressful. Every president I've ever seen be president looks like they aged twice as much time as they actually spent being the president. And like, I see why so many people like Oprah Winfrey, who have like a clear path to winning, just choose not to. There's like, it's literally not worth it. Like, I kind of agree. And like now look at Trump. Like even though like it's kind of understandable why he would be getting charged for some of the things he's getting charged for, like some of the things he's getting attacked for is like damn, like that kind of sucks. Like you were like living the rich life like a couple years ago, like no one was paying attention to anything you were doing. But now that you became president, everyone was looking up everything you've done in the past with a fucking microscope and now you're getting like charges brought back to you for it. Like, and it's like, not that I don't trust what I've done in the past, but like, do I want someone like up in everything I've ever said? Like, if someone found my old Facebook account from high school, I would have to resign. I would be like, I'm here to address the American people to just turn in my resignation. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, no, that's probably true. I'm sure I've said something offensive back in high school that would get me literally thrown out of office, I'm sure. So I don't know. It would be a tough decision whether I accept that or not. It's, yeah, I don't know.
what about you, John? Would you accept?
Um, yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, you got it, man.
He said, I guess so. Would
See,
you
this
move
is
the family
great.
to the White House?
Yeah, I guess. God.
Dude,
See, I
actually,
trust
especially for
John way
you, like
more
doing all
than
this
like.
extrovert stuff, that would be hilarious to watch you do all that. Just like, all
Uh,
right, Mr. President, are you ready to go meet all the European presidents and go through all like the Met Gala and all this? It's like, yeah,
But
I guess.
that would be a way more real and genuine like interaction. Like I feel like our relations would be better with someone who's not trying to like put on a show. Someone who's just there and being real and logical.
are we assuming in this scenario that all of the rest of the countries are doing this too? Because
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
like,
think
yeah.
so.
because like if they all stay the same and then I come in, we're fucked.
Right. Yeah, they're
No,
gonna be
I would
like, we
like
don't like this.
yeah.
Assassinate him.
I would like it to be like the global system, just the global write-in.
Nah, it couldn't happen.
Nah, I really couldn't. But uh yeah.
Maybe one
Let
day.
me yeah, maybe one day. So what's your guys's final
Yeah,
uh
yeah. It was The Rock for me. That's my person that I think would end up being president.
okay. What
Yeah,
about you, Blah?
I can agree. I'm gonna go with whoever is popular on fucking Instagram, and right now that's The Rock. It's perfect. He's a man. He's over 30. He's 50 actually. Everyone loves him. Yeah, I think it's kind of like game over if that happened.
Okay. I think Donald Trump goes back in.
I can see that. I would not be surprised at all if that happened.
Yeah.
Because if there's enough like indecision amongst the masses, then it would just get split up. But like there are definitely a good group of people who are solid on Donald Trump. So
Yeah, it's funny, like people talk about how like the presidency is just for like old white men or whatever. And yet when we posit the question, like if it were really truly open, it ends up just being like a dude, an old dude anyways. So,
at least he's not completely white. Like
but still, I don't know.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
just an
just
old
something,
dude.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
just something to think about. Um,
yeah. We
but yeah,
complain about that, but yet he's the most popular United States, presidential worthy person. Yeah, that's who we follow as Americans. I don't know what to tell
yeah,
you.
yeah. If you listen to all of this and you have a better, yeah, let us know what your write-in is. I would be interested to hear.
My real life write-in, if we really did this for real, it would be Jon Stewart. Remember that guy? The guy who
Yeah,
used to
yeah,
do
yeah.
the Daily Show?
Hmm.
I feel like he would be pretty good. I feel like he actually knows about like actual political stuff enough where I wouldn't be like afraid for all of our lives.
Yeah, that's a good question. Who would you actually write in? I didn't think about it.
But
Did you
I'm
think about
actually
it,
gonna
John?
write in you, so
No.
Uh, yeah.
oh.
Yeah, I haven't thought long enough about it to give a good responsible answer. So I guess I'm gonna write in John.
Yeah, that's true. I can write it. We can write it down. He
Uh,
didn't come up with it though, but he did accept.
Yeah. Yep.
oh, that would be
Yeah,
terrible.
actually, they should do they should do a write-in, and it should be a tiered write-in where you can write like 3 to 5 names, and then whoever gets the most out of all those tiers, then it wins. So that way, if
Wait, what's
someone
the purpose of the
from your
tiers?
so that way like you can have like more people that you're voting for. So like if someone like on your list wins, you'd still be happy. But if you just vote for one person and they didn't win, it just feels like
So
your
just
vote
a
was
so
useless.
just a list then. The fact that it's tiered doesn't actually do anything.
Right. It doesn't
Okay.
change anything. It just
Okay.
makes the
Okay.
voter feel a little bit better. So I can vote for John and
Well.
Gouda.
All right. Well,
And then fuck it, I'm writing me in number 3 then. Just so I can decline
yeah.
and be like, nah, I'm too scared.
Write us in the next election, everyone. Just write in. It's basically Monday podcast. That way, it's a vote for all of us.
Yeah, there we go. Perfect.
Yep.
I'm gonna say
But
no.
Hashtag write in.
like, I'm not part of it. Sorry.
Yeah. Yep.
Um. All right. Well, good talk, everyone.
That was good.
I think we'll leave it there, and we'll come back next time, maybe with more ways to fix the government, but probably not. So, yeah. Until next time. Bye bye.
See ya.
Bye.